Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you a different kind of video talking about how I started getting into collecting action figures. This is a video response to ShartimusPrime. ShartimusPrime is a guy I've been watching for a lot of years. Ever since I really knew what YouTube was. I'm 20 years old at this point, but ever since I really started watching YouTube, he was the main guy I looked at first. And I started watching him probably late 2008, early 2009. And it was only until a couple of years ago where I started making videos myself. But really early on, ShartimusPrime was probably the main inspiration to me, because with me in action figure collecting, it's had its highs, it's had its lows. I've drifted away from it a little bit recently, but I still do buy figures once in a while. A lot of them are more oftentimes like horror-oriented figures and stuff like that, or like movie type of figures or something like that. They're not always like superhero comic book stuff, but I still do get those once in a while. Like this, for example, here, the Blob Bath from Hasbro, which we'll talk about in a second. But how I started getting into action figure collecting was at a very young age. And before we talk about that, though, I just wanted to say that action figure collecting it used to be a lot bigger on YouTube. It was never like on like the top 5 most viewed of the day or anything like that or whatever. But it used to be a little bit more active. We had this whole community going, and it just went down a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. There used to be a lot more people involved. But ShartimusPrime is one of the guys still hanging in there, and I really respect the hell out of him for it. And I really respect what he's still able to do, even though the YouTube, Google Pay gets really sketchy. If you're lucky enough to even get to that point, whereas I'm at like 268 subscribers, I'm a ways off. But I still respect what he's able to do, and I still love his videos. But how I got into action figure collecting, like I said, I was at a very young age. I remember it was probably my brother first that really got me into it, I guess, because we both started buying. It was mainly Batman for us. Batman, he's still probably my favorite comic book character of all time. We would buy like any Batman figures we could. We had like these purple boxes, big purple boxes full of toys and stuff like that. And we'd buy any Batman figures we could. We'd buy some from the animated series. We'd buy at least 5 or 10 from the latest movie that came out or something. So that was really a big thing for us. We'd buy them all, even with all the stupid little gimmicks and things like that. So that's where it started for me. And I even remember when a few years after that, I would make my mom sit down and play superheroes with me or something. I'd get my parents to try and do it with me sometimes. I'd be Batman, and I'd set up like these elaborate little scenarios and get the bad guys and stuff like that. It's simpler times, and then from then, a few years later, is when I really started seriously getting interested in collecting them. I seriously got interested in how they're made, the real details of them, what figures are actually more meaningful than others, what how much more work gets put into certain ones than other ones do, depending on the company and the line, the wave, things like that. And I started collecting Marvel Legends. I do have quite a few of them, not nearly as much as guys like ShartimusPrime or anything like that. I have probably like maybe less than a quarter compared to his. But I started collecting them seriously. There was this local comic book shop around my area, Lang's Sports and Comic Books or something like that. And they used to have a decently sized space, a decently sized building. And they had just tons of Marvel Legends, tons of Marvel Selects. And I just felt like I hit the gold mine finally. I had a place like this next to me. Unfortunately, that place is technically not closed down, but they have a much smaller space, and they don't really have room for really any of those figures anymore. They mainly just have some stashes of comic books and stuff. But now there's this comic book store in the mall that has a decent amount, but they don't go quite into the older lines like the other comic book store did. but I was just in heaven at that point in that original comic book store. And I don't know, I can't really give you guys a good look at my collection right now, but it's there. You know, there you can see the shelves there. You can see some Alien Predator stuff right there. You can see a couple of Hulks. I have a Hulk shelf over there. Sometime I'll do a video showing off my whole figure collection, but that'll come at a later time. And well, let me adjust the camera. Sorry about that. But I just really fell in love with it, and when I seen guys like ShartimusPrime, you know, Century Productions, Sean Long, Boog Nice, Solid Snake in My Pants, guys like that, it just really gave me some pride in what I was into. You know, at first I didn't think, you know, you think it doesn't seem cool or something like that, but now suddenly all these superhero comic book movies are the biggest money makers in the world, right? It's interesting how that's changed. And I really just missed that time, you know, seeing these special videos from Comic-Con or something like that, and it just has certain magic. I don't think it's there anymore for some reason, but I still think figures are a great thing to be looked at, you know, not just for your nostalgia as a kid, which is great, but I really think there's something to really appreciate about them as an adult as well. And this Blob figure here, this is the one I really wanted for a lot of years. I got this one a couple of years ago, actually. You know, I didn't want any of the figures in the wave, really, you know, to get all the pieces, and that'd be, you know, pretty damn expensive to do, as it would be like paying for the complete bath on eBay or something. It's still kind of expensive, but I ended up getting this one through a trade, through one of the communities, and I was just really trying to track him down for a lot of years, and Blob is a character I really enjoy. You know, Hulk and Batman are probably my favorite comic book characters, at least in the superhero world. But Blob is a character I think is really overlooked, and I'd like to see Marvel Select do a figure of him at some point. I think that would be great. But I really just think there's something missing nowadays, and I really just think we need to go back to that time we once had. But yeah, that's my video response to ShartimusPrime. You know, I just want to do a quick thing talking about how much collecting means to me growing up and how much I still appreciate it, and I think there's still a lot to be cherished about it, you know, yesterday and today. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. You know, feel free to go to ShartimusPrime's channel. He is on my favorite channels on YouTube. If you go on my channel, you can see a little list of different channels I enjoy a lot. He's on it. Go to his video about it. You can email him your video about this type of thing, and he'll be putting it in a playlist of his on his channel. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.